question again? If you say that, do you not think I know that you're not paying attention though? All right. The second time I called him, he said, oh, actually my line is not very good. Can we try, can you, this guy for 3 times, all right, in the meeting, he was doing that. First time was, can you repeat the question? Second time it was, oh, my line wasn't good. And the third time, sorry, I was on mute. Well, after that, no more excuses already, right? So why am I telling you this? You think you're online, and because you're by yourself, sometimes we forget that the leader can see you, especially if you're on video, right? So be very aware of this because it's very, very important. Why this is also important is kind of share with you where I've been and done this program. We've done this program all over Asia, of course. The days when we did it in class, we have done it everywhere from Japan to Korea to China, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, everywhere, of course in Singapore, right? So from a background standpoint, why am I even saying this is because I'm actually a Singaporean, right? I was born and raised in Singapore. I've been in the US now for the past 22 years. I went there on a 3-year rotational assignment. After 3 years, they renewed the assignment for another 3 years. And then after that, I remained there because my kids were in school and we really couldn't come back, okay? So I know how you guys are, all right? I was like that. I'm an introvert. I hate talking to people, though, all right? So if I hate talking to people, doesn't mean I don't talk, though. And one of the things, you can see the 2 numbers behind my shoulder, right? 95.5. And I'm going to bring that concept out to you, which is very important for you to realize. 95% of the time, you can be who you are, but 5% of the time, when you are in the presence of people 2 levels above you in the organization, you have to step it up, right? And that's what we're going to show you, though. We've done this in Africa. I just was on a webinar the other day in Cairo. I was just talking to 2 leaders in South Africa. We've done this in Europe, of course, in the US, right? So it is very global. It's a thing that is necessary now. So let me give you one more story, though. See, when I first started my career way back when, okay, I was in Motorola. I was really good at finding problems, you know, okay? I was an expert at pointing out people's problems, right? And when I went in, I thought my role was to find the problem, okay, tell the problem, and then let my work speak for itself. So I said, here's my opportunity. The HR director for the region said, hey, Krempl, they used to call me by my surname. Hey, Krempl, I'm going on a 2-week road trip. I want you to assess all our processes and tell me what is wrong and how we can improve. I went, this is my chance, okay? So Jason, let's call him Jason, went on his 2-week trip. He came back, he says, hey, Krempl, so what did you find out? So I was proud, okay, I came, Jason, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is missing, this is missing. This is, I don't know who put this in here because it's totally wrong. And short of saying, I don't know who was the idiot who had my last position because he obviously didn't know anything. Of course, I didn't say it that way, right? But I did say, all right? So after that, then he said, so I said, who was in the last position? And then he kept quiet for about 2 seconds and he said, I was the person in the last position. I went, oops, I just not even shot myself in the foot, I shot myself in the head. But this leader, Jason, was such a great leader. This is what he told me. He said, Krempl, just realize when you are pointing out a problem in this organization, maybe the person that caused the problem or has the one that implemented it is sitting in the room, though. So please, so here's my suggestion to you, right? And this is probably one of the best advice I got early on in my career that helped me greatly, though. He said, all you have had to say was, you know, Jason, if we improve this process, this process, this process, and make a few tweaks here, and add these 2 things, we have such a beautiful organization. And he would say, yes, you're brilliant, right? So here's one of the other concepts that I'm going to be talking about today as well, is everything that you can say negatively can be reworded neutrally or positively. And if you can learn that one skill, 3/4 of your problems go away. Okay? It is really, really important. Now, some people are going, no, cannot be, right? You know, how it's only it's only that. So if you see in the corner, if you see in the corner of the slide here, you'll see the 5% zone called the visibility studies that get you rewarded and recognized. If you stay till the end of the webinar, you'll be getting this book. So I hope you stay around because we've got a lot of stuff to share with you though. So here are the 3 questions I want to ask you, okay? The answer is yes or no. I want you to type into your chat. The answer is yes or no, okay? I'm gonna ask you, so you all know where your chat is, huh? Because I'm looking at the chat, okay? So here's the first question. Just write yes or no, okay? 3 letters only, or 2 letters, okay? Does the smartest person always get noticed or promoted in an organization? Smartest, huh? Yes, no, 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 yes, yes. Smartest person, huh? Okay, no, 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 no. I think on average, majority knows there are some yeses. Okay, okay. So sometimes we're smart. Okay. Second question. All right. Second question. Does the hardest working person always get noticed or promoted in an organization? Hardest working? No, 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 no. Okay. Yes. Not always. Sometimes, maybe. This is all the hedging that sometimes. I see. I told you, right? I even said sometimes before I said. Third question. Does the most loyal person always get noticed or promoted in an organization? No, no, no. Okay. So, in general, okay, not at all. I love that one. Not at all. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Not at all. The chances are, most of the time, it is not about being the smartest. It is not about being the hardest working. It is not about being the most loyal. Okay, there are other factors that, because look, there are a lot of smart people. Doesn't mean you're smart. There's nobody else smarter than you in the organization, but doesn't mean the smartest one always gets it, right? There are other factors that we're going to show you. So here's a question. If we had a breakout room, that I'll ask you, but I want you to think about this for 5 seconds only. What gets a person noticed or promoted in your organization? Okay, is it being the smartest? Is it hardest? Is it loyal? Anybody there to type in? Don't worry, I won't capture this. Problem solvers, very good. What the boss thinks about him or her. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, not only what the boss thinks, is what the boss's boss thinks. Okay. Brings in sales, of course, definitely. Outspoken, all right, and outspoken well, balanced wisdom, says what they want to hear. That one is very important. It's called politically correct things to say. Okay, effective communicator, shine, comes out, diplomat, good achievements, very good. In fact, all of you are saying stuff there that is nothing to do with being hardworking, smart, and loyal. Out of the 4 Fortune 500 companies that I work for, okay, Motorola, Pepsi, Yum Brands, and Starbucks. I won't mention which company, but I had one leader. I know my boss was not as good. He wasn't the most brilliant person, okay? However, because he had connections with the senior leaders in the organization, he was there in that position. I know none of you have this had this situation before, but do you know what I'm talking about, right? It is not about that. There are many other factors. Why is it important? You need to figure out that later on, because it is not only, and don't get frustrated because you are the smartest and you didn't get promoted. There are other factors, and we want to show this to you, okay? So next one. So here's what we're going to be covering, right? How and, let me just move this here. How and why you need to be more visible. Some of the key elements, all right? We're going to show you some of that. You have to understand some of the personal blocks, and then how to communicate with impact virtually or in person. Now, I'm sure you know that we cannot do all of this in 1.5 hours, but I'm going to try to my very best to do this. So one of the first concepts you have to realize is this one, okay? Right here. Who you know, it used to be who you know. Actually, no more is who you know. It's who knows you, right? In the organization, if I go, see, who you know is critical to networking. However, who knows you is critical to your career progression, though. Okay? When your name comes up, who remembers or knows who you are, though? Okay? The larger the organization, many of you come from large organizations, right? If I go, of course, your boss knows you, right? Your boss's boss. How about 3 levels up the organization? How about on top of your product group, your division, whatever you call yourselves, right? Do they really know you, though? Or more important, when your name comes up, what is their impression of you? And later on, we'll show you where these situations are. I was in Hong Kong, this is maybe 2 years ago, and there was a lady in my class, and she said this, you know, Stephen, my boss's boss is in Sydney. I know she can't remember my name. Do I tell her my name when I meet her again? I said, yes, please. You know why? Because many of the leaders, they have so many people in their organization, they may forget, right? So if you say, hey, Stephen, my name is Tom. Yes, Tom. Even if I don't know you're Tom, I pretend I know you're Tom. You get it? No? So sometimes you have to help the senior leaders, especially the ones you don't see very often, okay? Help them out, though, okay? It is not about them trying to, so you have to realize this. So here's the other slide. So it's no more who you know, right? I had a VP that I was helping. His headquarters was in Santa Clara. Don't worry, none of the companies are on this list here, okay? So he said he flew me down to Santa Clara to help him on his presentation. After his presentation, I'll tell you about that later. After his presentation, helping him, I asked him, I says, hey, John, how many VPs do you know outside of your product group? He hesitated, right? I said, you don't know many VPs outside your product group, right? And he says, well, I said, then who knows you in the organization? Because here's what happens, though. Senior leaders, right? They come together and they go, hey, do you know John? Yeah, he's great. Wasn't he the one that did that cross-functional group? Oh, yeah, he must be good. If they mention your name to each other and they recognize it, your level is totally different already. If only your boss knows you and your business group and other people don't know you, doesn't mean you don't go up the organization. However, your trajectory may be a little bit lower, right? So just think of that. How many people know you at the right level in your organization? Because I don't know what level you are, higher up, okay? Very good. So the trick is, who knows you? And when your name comes up, what happens, okay? So here was a situation that happened to me. I just joined the organization, right? I had my right-hand person was a lady, and I'm going for a succession planning meeting. So I told my boss, and in fact, my boss's boss is there also in succession discussion. You know, I think we need to promote Jane. And then the boss's boss goes, yeah, well, I don't think so. Then I'm going, and I'm defending her, right? No, she's my best worker. All the team people love her. The customers love her. I think she really deserves it, though. You know what my boss's boss said? Yeah, but she's so quiet in meetings. Then I go, well, let's consider her next round. Next round is 12 months time, right? What am I going to tell my person here? So what has happened, though? A person who's really good and hardworking, her customers love her, team loves her, but she's not making the right impression at the right levels. Okay? And then you go, wow, Singaporean, huh? Wow, not fair. No, nothing to do with fair. It is who makes the decision. So let me ask you, who decides on your promotion, though? Your boss or your boss's boss? Anybody on the type? Boss or boss's boss? Who is most important in making that decision, though? Is it your boss or boss's boss? I see one boss's boss there. Okay, boss's boss, both. Yeah, both is important for sure. Your boss definitely, yeah. However, the person that signs off is usually one level up in the organization. So who should you be actually really showing your capability though? When a senior leader is viewing you, they are viewing you whether you're ready for the next level, not your current level. So you have to show that capability at the next level, right? So management is always searching, and it's often hard to find internal talent. We always talk about, internal talent. Yeah, we have to have the internal talent. However, many times you're not visible. And here's the phrase we use. If you are not visible, you are invisible. Okay, let me repeat one more time. I know some of you are hard concept to understand. If you're not visible, you are invisible. So let me give you another example. I'm just going to see if I'm going to stop share and share this story. So this gentleman is, let's call him Lau, all right? He's an engineer and one of my clients. So we're having a program that part of a high potential pool. I'm helping them out because CEO is coming. So never mind, we're having a discussion. Then I said, hey, Lau, do you participate in global conference calls? Yes. How many global conference calls do you have? Every 2 weeks we have one. I said, wow, really? How many people on the call? 30 people, 15 countries. I said, wow, big call, right? So I said, Lau, how many times have you asked a question or participated on the call the last 5 times though? Then I told him, I said, don't answer, I answer for you. 0. He said, how do you know? I said, I look at your face, I know you won't say anything though. So I said, who knows you exist in the organization? Your name is on the call list here. I don't care whether it's a virtual call now or a call-in global conference call, right? Your name is there. But if you haven't said anything for the last 5 calls, means you can be as good as not on the call. Now, don't get me wrong, okay? I'm not asking you to talk all the time. That's also a problem, all right? So we'll talk about that later. However, if you haven't said anything, so think about that. All your important calls that you've been in, important meetings, there are only 3 things you can do in a meeting or a call, okay? 3 only. You want to take down, better take down, huh? Number 1, you're going to say something that means you're going to share your point of view. Number 2, you're going to ask a question. Or number 3, you're going to summarize. That's it. Okay, you want to say something, you're adding value, you can ask a question or you can summarize. There's no other thing, right? Now, some of you are going, yeah, but I don't know too much about the particular topic, so I want to keep quiet. No, if you don't know about the topic, don't add your point of view. You may want to ask a question though. If you don't ask a question, then you summarize. However, you cannot summarize if you didn't plan to summarize though. Which is this. If I'm planning to summarize, because I'm not very familiar with the topic, but I want to add value, then here's what I'm doing. I'm listening to what people are saying. I'm taking it down, and right at the end, when the leaders always say, any question or comments, then I'll put up my hand and says, Jim, I just heard Rebecca made a great point about quality, and Kok Yin said something about execution. I'm going to make sure I take Kok Yin's idea and make sure my team does it. Actually, I said nothing. You know what I said? I just repeated what Rebecca said and what Kok Yin said, but sounds like I'm participating, right? But there's one trick here that you may not have caught. I said what I'm going to do about it right at the end with my team. So why am I telling you this? These are the small things that many of you think, this is not important. No, small things are big things. The higher you go up in the organization, you have to add value though. And if you miss the opportunity to add value in one, a comment or a question, you better have something to say, all right? I don't have to tell you about your organization. You know, some people are really, really good at this in the organization. And that's why they climb up in the organization very far as well, okay? So very simple. Simple is not easy. So one of the things you need to be able to do is this, okay? In the 5% zone, you must be more visible, not invisible during your 5% opportunities. And 5% opportunities for us is the times you are in front of your people 2 levels above you. in the organization. That's what we define as 5% opportunities, all right? So let me try. So for the difference many times of some people progressing and getting ahead is the ability to stand out, okay? Now, I'm not asking you to stand out and participate for the sake of doing it. Remember, Singaporean, very practical. You have to have built on a foundation of great attitude, competence, and results. If you don't have competence, attitude, and results, forget it in the first place. However, I know many of you have great attitude, are competent in your area of expertise, and you got results. However, if somebody is the same as you and they're a little bit more visible, okay, all things being equal, they might get the pull over you, all right? So it is not fair or unfair, it just is the situation. So let me give you some philosophies that we run through our program. We have a program that we run, either in-house, but we have it online and even on a webinar. So here's some of the philosophies that we cover, okay? I'm gonna go through it very quickly. The first one is 95-5, okay? You all know, 95% of the time, please be who you are. I can't change you, you can't change yourself. However, when you are in the presence of people 2 levels above you, you have to be able to switch to something that is very different. And then some of you are going, right? So I'll play my Singaporean self, right? Hey, that one acting. No, it's not acting. You're playing your role, though. Okay? Remember, senior management are always viewing you. Is this person ready for the next level, though? Okay? So let me give you an example. If you had a 2-hour discussion with your team or your engineers or whomever else you had to try and solve a customer problem, okay? Now you've got a suggestion. You go to your boss. Your boss gives you half an hour. Now your boss says, good, present to my boss. You go to that boss, they give you 15 minutes. And you know they will talk for 5 minutes, so you only have 10 minutes. Though. How you communicate when you have 2 hours is very different than how you communicate when you have half an hour, and is totally different when how you communicate if you have 10 minutes. Though. You need to be able even just to switch the way that you articulate things, and most people don't. They try and cram things more in that 10 minutes, and then they lose track of everything. So that's one of the things, right? We teach you is how do you switch from your 95 to your 5? In fact, many times, how you act in the office is how different when you go out drinking or have a meal with your friends, or if you go to your mother-in-law's house. I know some of you all act differently, right? And if you go to your game that you're watching your favorite team play, you act differently. And if you are a person of worship, wherever you go to worship, you act totally differently. So we know how to act differently all the time. But somehow in the office, oh no, I'm an authentic leader. I'm 100% the same all the time. See, okay? You'll die. If you think you act 100% all the time, then you'll die. Next philosophy, okay? Good to great. Jim Collins wrote the book, Good to Great, many years ago. He studied 15 companies, did high single-digit, low double-digit growth. Something happened, and then their growth went like this. Anybody remember what do you think happened in this inflection point that made the good company suddenly a great company? Anybody? Just type in. What do you think happened? Was it a leader change? Was it something happened, right? Anybody brave enough to write down what do you think happened? Leadership change, okay? Gary, thank you. Anybody else? So yes, possible change of leadership. Sales went up. Unfortunately, it wasn't the point in the book that I was trying to grab at. Anybody else brave enough to type in? What do you think happened in the inflection point? Strategy change. Yeah, that's right. Change. Culture change. Alignment change. Breakthrough product. Last time the products were useless. Now breakthrough product. Boom. Sales went up. Vision. Luck. Very good. I like that one. Okay. Sometimes you need luck. All things being equal, okay? However, visibility, this one trying to follow what we're saying here. Actually, no, it's a very simple thing. Let me just show you, right? They made a decision they wanted to be great. All the things I'm going to talk about and all the things whether you're going to aspire to the next level or want to do starts with a decision. Do you want to be good or do you want to be great? There's a fine line, because I know many people I've seen. I coached them all through my careers, right? At least my consulting careers. Once they're good, everybody stop. Hey, I'm good already. No need to practice. Okay? The great ones are the ones that practice the most. And you know what? They don't tell you. I practice with senior leaders all the time. You think the senior leader is going to go out, hey, I've been practicing with Stephen for the last 2 hours, so let me share my speech. No, they practice, they go on and they act like they've done it for their whole life, and then people go, wow, she's such a great leader. No, practice, okay? So you have to decide, do you want to be good or do you want to be great in your area? I don't care where it is, right? You can be a great, whether in your area of expertise, whether you're a functional expert, or whether you're a product expert, I have no idea. Whether you're an R&D group, I have no idea. However, you have to decide first. Then, after you decide, you must know this next one. You have to understand the rules of the game in your organization. We always talk about rules of the game by giving this example, all right? We say there are 3 games. One is rugby. Okay, most of you should be familiar with rugby, but if you don't, is the ball round or is it oval? Definitely oval, right? Very good. Second game, American football. Okay, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is the ball round or is it oval? Also oval. Third game, Aussie rules, only played in Australia, right? Is the ball round or is it oval? Also oval. Now, here's the interesting thing. Kok Yin thinks he's playing American football. I think I'm playing rugby, and Mung San, I think, okay, thinks he's playing Aussie rules. Everything looks the same. The ball's the same. They all have a referee. Referee have a whistle. There are 2 posts on the fields for all 3 games. When the referee blows the whistle, Kok Yin tackles me. I'm going, hey, I don't have the ball. Why are you tackling me? He says, you stand there like an idiot, I'm running right through you, though. American football, right? In rugby, if you don't have the ball, you can't tackle me, though. Then I'm waiting for Mung San. Mung San is running into the open field. I'm going, Mung San, where are you going? Because in rugby, if you're not next to me and behind me, I cannot pass you the ball. So why is this significant? Because everything looks the same, but the rules are totally different. So the question to you is this, though. What are the rules of the game for your boss's boss? Not even your boss. Your boss, you probably know. Your boss's boss. In my case, in that one situation I gave you just now, it was participation in meetings. So let me ask you a question. You just type yes or no. Huh? If I went, do you know your rules of the game for your boss's boss? Just type in the yes or no. Do you know the rules of the game for your boss's boss? Yes, yes. Well, no, yes. No. Okay. Interesting, huh? If you know the rules of the game, then you might need to know how to apply this next one. And if you don't know the rules of the game, you better find out, okay? Because it is very hard to succeed if you don't know the rules of the game of the boss's boss. Because sometimes, I know I'm not talking about your company, huh? My previous experience, sometimes the boss's boss rules and your boss rules slightly different. I know you don't have this kind of situation. I'm just telling you about my situation. Okay, so you have to realize, right? Okay, so let's get it. So here is an example of what red lines are things that happen that are bad. Green X's are things that happen that are good. Okay, so because this let me use my wife as an example. We need to go to Bellevue, Washington for shopping. And when we go there, all right, she usually says, "Hun, drop me here at 3 o'clock, pick me up at, drop me at 12, pick me up at 3 o'clock. Sometimes I come late though. This is my wife, huh? I'm not saying anything about you guys, okay? My wife. Huh, you're late again. 3 months ago, you're late. Last year when my mother-in-law came, you're late. 3 Thanksgiving ago, she remembers every single time I was late though. Unbelievable memory though. Doesn't mean I never pick up on time all the green X's. That one she don't remember, right? Conversely, when your name comes up in an organization, what do people remember though? Boom, right? First, wasn't he the one that asked that great question in the town hall or the all hands meeting? Wasn't he the one that led the cross-functional team to solve the our tech issue? Wasn't he the one that rolled out the new program and was on the committee though? Wasn't he or she the one? Your job is to create green X's. And a green X is something memorable so that when your name comes up, people can go, yes, he did this or she did this and did that, right? So the only way you can create a green X if you understand the rules of the game. And when you understand the rules of the game, you would have decided whether you want to be good or great. Because if you do not want to be great and you think you're good enough, you may not even take the trouble to create green X's. Okay? And it goes back to the 5%. The 5% times when you do that. And here are the 5 situations that people see you. No other times, right? The one-on-one meeting you have with people that are high up in the organization, the meetings, small or large, your town halls or your all-hands meetings, your conference call, whether it's virtual call or just an audio, a telephone call, or your presentations in your company socials. These are the only 5 times that your senior leaders see or hear you though. They don't know if you came in at 7:30 and they don't know if you left at 9:30 p.m. every day for the whole week though. When your name comes up, they go back to what was he or she like at the last one-on-one I had? Well, he was, I've been there for the last 2 town halls. I didn't hear anything from them. He doesn't really say anything in conference calls. His presentation was either good or okay, right? And at the company social, I didn't even see him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please write down which one do you think is the most important to senior leaders? Which number? Is it 1? Is it the one-on-one? Type in, huh? Number 2, is it the small meeting? Okay, is it conference call? Number 4, 2, 2, 4, 5, 1, 5, 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 1, 2. Okay, a couple of you wrote the numbers, and the correct number is number 5. And then some of you going, hey, how come? It doesn't mean the other 4 are not important. But let me tell you what senior leaders talk about. They want to know if you can come and join them with, you know, senior leaders all huddled together, right? They're talking about, can you join that group? Interact with them and be comfortable. If you can do that, they know you're ready for the next level. Okay? So don't answer in the chat room, answer to yourself. How comfortable are you going in a social setting, all right? Joining the senior and just talking about anything. It doesn't have to be about work. In fact, most of the time they try not to talk about work. They're talking about some hobby, some wine thing, some, you know, whatever they're into, they start talking about that. One of the things that we will teach in our online and a longer program is how to talk to anybody about anything. Okay? If you can do that, you're gold. But most of us, right? Especially the introverts, hey, if I don't know anything about a topic, how to talk about it, right? That's what we think. Do you know the really, really good ones can talk to anybody about anything? It seems like they know everything about everything, right? Actually, it is not. It's the art of asking questions, which no time to talk about today, all right? So let me just continue, all right? I'm going to give you 12 words on this chart here, and I want you to tell me which one is the most important. There are 3 major concepts. There's the image of yourself, okay? Let me just put it up, your intention, and then your approach. So there's results, behavior, mindset, right? And self-concept. And then there is survive, cruise, contribute, and win. And then preparation, adding value, being different, being proactive. You kind of need all of these to interact in an organization, right? You have to have a good image of yourself, and your intention is either you want to contribute or win in the organization. And in order to win and contribute, you must do these 4 things, which is prepare, add value, be different, and be proactive. So if anybody can type in, which word do you think is the most important? Which word is the most important? Mindset, value, right? Add value, right? Add value, very good. Mindset, proactive, mindset, add value, self-concept, be different, okay? So far, nobody hit the right word yet. Win, proactive, okay? In the interest of time, cruising results. Look, all word there. My friend there just did it, German Chang. Preparation, okay? The key word here is preparation. Doesn't mean, again, all the others are not important, right? Why I'm trying to make a point here is most senior leaders prepare like mad. They just don't tell you, okay? Do you think your CEO doesn't prepare for the analyst call that he makes every quarter? No, they prepare. They anticipate questions. At the PR department or whomever department in your organization prepares anticipated questions and the answers. They usually, even in Singapore, we've gone through, I know the companies where the person that's actually writing the question and the answers and then practice to the CEO before the calls. But then when the call comes, the CEO acts like this, right? Wow, that's a good question. I haven't heard that one before. He just practiced it for half an hour ago, but he acts like he's never heard the question before, right? That's how they get good, okay? You think they are natural. No, they are naturally practiced. So let me ask you the question. How much do you practice for your one-on-ones, your team meetings, your conference call, your business presentation, and your company social? And then some of you are going, company social also must practice. What do you think? Company social is work though. You need to know who you're going to talk to, what question you're going to ask them, what they really like. And when you know those things, then you can have a great conversation and then they remember you. So it is not company. So why I'm telling you, because early in my career, I used to do this. I used to hide in the corner with my best friend. We are drinking the drink. And then after 15 minutes, I tell him, he said, hey, damn boring, let's chow. Then we chow from the social because I don't like small talk. I hate talking to people, right? However, remember, this is not a 95% social. If it's a 5% social with your senior leaders there, you better mix around with them and show them you're ready for the next level, okay? So very quick thing, there's a poll here. So which skill is most important to reskill? Very fast, Rebecca, this one should be, which skill should be created? Please answer. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4. Technical or core capabilities for STEM, capabilities for innovation and creativity, ability to communicate effectively in business context, and or analytic skills and business acumen. Yep, if you haven't quite figured it out, is the third one. Thank you very much, everybody. You can end polling already. End polling, show them the results. They can share the results, right? Y'all can see that. Most of you got it. Look, innovation and creativity is important. However, the higher you go up, it is less about the technical skills. It comes down to your ability to communicate that skill in most organizations. I won't say all, okay? So let me just continue here on. Here is a little thing to say, how good are you? So there are a couple of things here. I want you to think on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is you're not good, 10 you're great, okay? Connecting personally at all levels, articulating your points of view clearly, communicating confidently, building trust with key stakeholders, providing direct feedback positively. That means telling almost a negative thing, but can you do it positively? Taking ownership proactively, and coaching and recognizing. So just take a very quick snapshot for yourself and just figure out which one you're really good at and which one you think you need to work more if you need to be visible in your organization. Okay, most of you, if you put all 10, you can jump off the call now. It's all right. You don't need to listen anymore. Next slide is actually very interesting as well. I want you to think of somebody in your organization whom you admire or a peer that you think is really good. Okay, now I want you to put down your score. You had your score just now. Maybe you just do the best one and the lowest one against them. How good are they at all these things? How good at them? How good are they at connecting with people at all levels? How good are they at gaining trust of their key stakeholders? How good are they at taking ownership proactively? I don't know, but that may give you a clue, okay, in some of the areas you need to work on. Like I said, if you come on a longer program, we actually go through many of these in detail. And kind of teach you that, which you should be good at all of these, huh? Just to give you a clue, okay? So what I want to talk about, a lot of time people talk about executive presence, right? So let me summarize in three lines. So I'm not going to do that. So let me, executive presence, right? People say is gravitas, is really how you behave and how you act. Okay, so that's one you can be trained. You can do that. And then communication, how you speak and how you message the key things that you're trying to get across. And then your appearance, how you look, do you fit in? Okay, I can't change your appearance, but you can change to where, are you a formal, informal, you have to fit in, right? However, have you considered how do you create virtual presence though? It's not executive presence. You probably have the executive presence, but that's more face-to-face. How do you do virtual presence, okay? So now I'm just going to move something around here because otherwise I can't see the slides. Here, so virtual presence, first one column. When we are looking at you, all right, you should be thinking about what's going on in your background, your framing, okay? Framing is very simple. This is called a half shot. Am I full head shot? Am I headshot? Am I right at the back? Do I know that? Camera angle, okay? I'm looking straight at the camera. Some of you, most of you are looking down at your thing because your laptop is on the table and you're looking down. If you're looking down, means everybody can see everything on your ceiling already, okay? Lighting, do you have enough lighting? Some people have not enough lighting because they're in the part of the house. You have to do this. Your dress code, are you in your t-shirt or are you dressed up? I just talked to the guy in South Africa yesterday, and he said, Stephen, when 8, he says 8 o'clock. When 8 o'clock comes, I'm dressed in my shirt, and his wife says, why are you all dressed up? He says, I'm going to work though. Of course, he walks 5 steps to his laptop in the house, right? But he says, when people look at me or when I'm talking to my guy, I have to at least look decent, right? So that's it. So that's good. And energy level as well. So we have time. No time to even go through the next, which is voice projection, how you do these things, tempo, which you do that, and the verbal is your messaging, right? So I just want to show you the first column as some examples. So look at this carefully at the pictures, and you tell me what you see though. Okay, so this is a group of people who are, some people you can see the ceiling, some people totally background, some people are in Tokyo, one person is working in the White House. One looks half asleep, and I don't know where, he's not even looking at the camera though. Of course, one's called in and one turned off the so again, it depends, right? However, do you realize what you look like on the other side to other people though? Next one, huh? Okay, so here's the same one again. A whole bunch of people, the person at the bottom row there is sleeping because they're lying down. They put a virtual background, but that is cheating. Okay, but that she's looking up at her her laptop or her iPad. It means she's lying down already though. Okay, this kind of trick cannot trick me. I already know. Okay, so you think you're tricking people. There are some people here whose face totally dark, can't see because of lighting though. So I'm not saying it's a big deal. However, remember, small things are big things, right? What impression do you want to create when you come on virtually though? And this is just the first column, right? I'll give you another example. Okay, let me just click here. So this is a picture I just took on TV. I went then, I turned on to CNBC or NBC, yeah, NBC, right? And I just took, these are people who are in the studio, but all working from home, right? Look at the person on the top picture from New York. He's out in the woods. He's on location. The New York City lady is the host, and the person below is a guest. All of them exactly half shot, all looking into the camera. Bottom picture, the host is wearing the tie. The lady in there with the background is a Harvard professor. She also knows how to look on TV. Okay, I'm not saying you're on TV. However, if you are a leader in an organization, you have to have some etiquette, some standards in the way you come across. Okay, just small deal, huh? So what I'm going to do is just show you some 7 facets model. Okay, so a couple of key skills. Maybe we don't have time to go through all 7. Like I said, we have that online and in our classroom. But for SSIA, this particular session for visibility, one of the most important things is how you connect personally. Now, I'm only going to share one part of this, which is your introduction. Okay. Now, most of you say, yeah, introduction. I know how to introduce myself. I know my name. I tell my title. Yeah, but we want to share with you something that you probably do not do. Okay, so here's the trick. The trick is the 3rd line. My name is Stephen Krempl. That's the 1st line, right? The 2nd line is I'm the CEO of Krempl Communications International. The 3rd line, we help individuals become visible to senior management. The 3rd line is what gets people to remember you. People may have forgotten your name by the time they meet the 5th person. But because most of them only give their name and titles, if you have a nice hook, the hook makes you more memorable. All right? So where's the guy that makes people more visible? That's the only thing they'll remember. They'll forget your name. So let me give you an example. Okay, so this is generic supply chain, all right, example, okay? So I am your name. I hope you know your name, right? I work as whatever, director, senior manager, senior director, SVP, whatever it is, in supply chain management function. Here's the 3rd line. I'm the person that ensures our company logistics works 100% all the time. And then some of you are saying, hey, that one boasting. No, you're not boasting though. This is being proud of what you do, being able to articulate it in one concise line so that people remember you. You know what people remember? Hey, what's that 100% all the time guy though? That's all they remember though. So my question to you is this. If I gave you this and says, you fill in the blank, what would you say about yourself? I know you know your name. I know you know your title and your division or your department. What do you answer in the 3rd line? I'm the person that what? I'm the person that ensures our company grows 20%. Am I the person that ensures our systems are up 99.9%? Am I the one who ensures our customers are 100% satisfied? Do I manage $500 million? Am I the one who takes care of our top 3 customers globally? I have no idea though, right? However, you need to have a 3rd line that makes you memorable. And guess what? For the senior leaders who don't meet you often, that is your chance to make sure they remember you. Okay? So why are we even teach this? Why do I want to teach you an introduction with the first number 1 line and number 2? Because everybody does that. You want to be slightly different than everybody else. Okay? So I'm just telling you, the ones who are really, really good have a really great line. And when they have the line, people remember them. Okay? So think about it, right? I'll give you a few seconds. Why don't you write down what do you think you will say about yourself if you were introduced yourself to me and you had a great 3rd line? Though? What would your 3rd line be though? Any brave soul dare to type in or even say anything to me? I think they say something, oh, faint. Who can be a brave engineer leader who will say, here's my 3rd line? Just unmute yourself and come on. Or somebody is on the chat. Let me see. Who is brave enough? connects you relevant organization and section in Germany. I'm the person that ensures more women entrepreneurs are supported holistically. Oh, okay, very good. I'm the one that ensures more women entrepreneurs are supported, right? Very good. Connects you to the relevant organization. Okay, I'm the person that connects everybody in the organization. Anybody else? You will not get it the first time, all right? However, you need to be thinking of this because think about it. You go to a company social. Hi, my name is Stephen Krempl. Yeah, who's gonna remember you? After they drink 2 glasses of wine, you're forgotten already. It's the third line. Let me give you one more example, non-work related. If I just said, my name is Stephen Krempl, right? I'm my title, and I say, my favorite team is Manchester United. I guarantee you, you either hate me or you like me because you support Manchester United. You know what? In the end, people say, hey, where's that Manchester United guy? They've forgotten my name. You are providing the third line to make people remember you, okay? Just think about that. I'm the person that ensures APAC group of companies to migrate rings company. Okay, for the person who wrote that one, I'm a person that migrates APAC group companies to migrate the risk or compound by relevant authority. A little too many words already though. So you have to concise that to something even sharper, right? So I'm the person that ensures APAC companies migrate risk. So I'm the person that takes care of all risks in APAC. Boom, one line though. Don't have to give them all the details. Now you give a chance to somebody else. Oh, so really, what do you do? Now you can say though. So that one line also tells them what you do. And it also allows them to ask you. Otherwise, you tell them your title. Most people have the same title, okay? So what gets you different? That line, okay? I know it brings your bottom line to the next level. Wow, very good. Huh? I bring your bottom line to the next level. You tell me as a leader, I'll be really. So I'm going to tell you. So which level are you going to get me to though? Right? But you see how you connect, right? Immediately you say something like that, I will remember you though. Okay, very important. Okay, so next, no time. We've got plenty of stuff. I'm glad all of you are writing down, man. I'm in charge of leasing 16 million of industrial space in our Singapore portfolio, right? Okay, so I'm in charge. 16 million industrial space is my contribution to the company, or something like. You see, I'm trying to get the words smaller, shorter, and punchier though. If we had the class here, I'll be giving you feedback, or like Kok Yin is the class, we give you feedback and then we edit your lines and your introduction so it becomes interesting. Okay, now no time, but you can see how it gets. Like some of you have got one paragraph. Hey, hello, this is one short sentence and not a paragraph. Okay, I know in school we learn to write along. This is short, punchy. This is like your headlines of the newspaper. It's a line that when people read, they got it, okay? So next, I appreciate all of you typing it in. It means all of you are at least thinking about it. You can use this anytime, anywhere. Huh? Your one-on-one with your senior leaders, if you haven't met them for the first time, just point that in and you stand out. So this other one is called articulating your point of view clearly. Okay, this is one of those things, and I want to show you just one little trick that many leaders use that you, after today, you may start to recognize what they do or what they're doing, all right? So here's the one. So what does an individual need to do to articulate their point of view clearly? And this is what they need to do, okay? They use set up statement. So let me show you on the next slide what it is, then I'll explain to you and show you how simple it is, but if you didn't know, you may not realize what they were doing, okay? So they are words used to attract people's attention to your statement or key point. So before you say something that's really, really important, you have to let people know it's very important, or you have to give them some structure for them to follow you though. So let me give you examples though. I have 1 point to make, okay? I can add some other words, but I have 2 points to make, or I have 3 points to make. Why do you say that? When you give a number, people can follow along with you. I'll give you an example. I'd like to share 3 key things with you. Number 1, 95.5. Number 2, good to great. And I keep quiet. Everybody's going, what happened to number 3? You see, when you give a number, and if you follow along the number, people think you're structured. If you give a number and you don't follow a number, people say, hey, you said 3, you only gave us 2. What happened to number 3? Right? Do you get it? So when you give a number, it helps you from a structure to deliver. It helps your listener to listen. The other thing is this, okay? Small thing, huh? If the person before you says, I have 2 points to make, if you are the next person, you cannot say, I also got 2 points. And then Kok Yin will say, my 2 points. You cannot use the same setup statement as the person who came before you, though. So you need to have multiple setup statements, right? Here, I'm only going to give you a couple. So I would like to highlight a key idea. Notice I use the word pause, P-A-U-S-E. You pause for half a second so that people start to listen to you. Okay, don't be your normal self and just rush through the whole thing, right? I like to highlight a key idea. Pause, take a breath, and then you tell the idea though. I like to key a key idea, and then you keep going. Nobody has a chance even to take a breath to listen to you. Remember, you're trying to do this so that people are listening. You're increasing your probability that people are listening to you though. The crucial point here is you better have something damn crucial to say after that. However, now people are listening, right? So it may look like sound like an English class. If you ever came to our longer sessions, you'll practice and you'll realize that when some people use words, a set up statement that's very impactful, everybody is listening to you. And when you know how to summarize the words and your points clearly on the other end, then you are able to articulate your points of view clearly, right? It sounds so simple. I've been when we do this in groups or even in the webinar, right? So we break out to groups of 4 or 5. We make people go around. So everybody gives a setup statement, and you cannot use the same setup statement as the person who came before you. So you cannot use the same as the other 4. Then we go second round, third round. And you suddenly realize if you pay attention, you can actually change. But most of us are not paying attention, and most of us are not even thinking about setup statements. For me, when I do my presentations, I spend most of my time thinking about how I use my setup statement to set up my next slide or set up my key points that I want the senior leaders to listen to. It cannot be everything is important. Huh? So the one that is the most important, you really have to have a really good setup statement. I even done this in Thailand, and you think it's, the Thais, maybe the English is not that good. We have 40 people in the class. Though. I made each and every one start. I gave them 2 minutes to think of the setup statement. And I started from the left and went all the way around to the 40th person. And everyone came up with a different setup statement. And these are Thais, okay? Not Singaporeans who are English, or most of you on this call, English is much better than most of the Thais. Huh? Some of the Thais are very good English, but not necessarily all of them. So just a couple of key small things that some of you may have heard before, may not have heard before, but those are the things that get you noticed. Now, let me just see next. So I want you to think about this very quickly, right? For just the things I've told you now, okay, the last 1 hour, what ideas can I use? What do I need to do immediately? Then you think, shoots, my next one-on-one or my next town hall or my next virtual call, I better, I better at least participate. If that's your problem. Or you go, I better watch what's in my background because I haven't paid attention to it. Now I better pay attention to it. When this is even before COVID, all right? I used to travel all around the world, and I used to do a lot of conference calls and seminars and webinars, right? I'm in a hotel room. Most people don't even know I'm in a hotel room. You know why? Because I turned the laptop to the wall. There's a blank wall, and I'm close enough, and nobody knows I'm in a hotel room, though, right? Most of you, you think there's a desk, so you put your laptop on the desk, and you think that's something. Just turn the desk for that short period of time. Nobody knows. Okay, that is the stuff you need. My supervisor and senior management. What green X's do I need to create for my supervisor or my boss's boss? You may have some green X's. Maybe you need to create more because other people are doing the same though. Okay, or your next virtual meeting or conference call. What are you doing though? Now, just now I said it's not only about talking, right? Because you have two problems. You have people who talk, don't talk. That's one problem. Second problem, people who talk too much. Okay? You don't talk, problem. Talk too much, also a problem. These people, right? They put up their hands. Everybody is going, oh my God, here he goes again. Now, does anybody usually tell this person that they talk too much though? Usually not, right? So I hope you're not this person, and I hope you're not this person as well. So for me, it's very simple. You think about your meetings, right? You only have 5 key meetings with senior meetings. Your one-on-one, team meetings, presentation, conference calls, and company social. Think back to the last 5 times. How many times did you participate or say anything? You cannot be silent all the time, though. Okay? And you cannot be talking all the time, because if you're talking all the time, you're dominating, and people don't like that either. So you have to be balanced, right? So it's very, very important. So here's some of the philosophies that you need to know. So you need to know how to increase your visibility, right? Raise your energy level. We didn't even talk about that today, right? You have to be slightly different than other people. You have to add value for sure, and be proactive. Don't wait till the leader says, who would like to lead this project? Put up your hands and say, so-and-so, I would like to lead the project. Even if they don't give it to you, you are top of their mind as being proactive, right? However, for me, as being a very practical person, it has to be built on your attitude, your competence, and your results. Many of you have the black, don't do the green very well. Okay? If you do not have the black, please don't do the green. Okay? Look, I'm not asking you to talk for talk's sake. Okay? That is not what I mean at all. So it's very important to realize that you need to be able to do that though. So some of the things that I like to share here, so is one of the things we cover that you will be thinking, here are the things we talk about in good. So you need to know what the 95-5 philosophy is. What do you do in your 5% zone, those 5 situations? And then the same things in the circle, right? You need to connect personally. You need to articulate your points of view clearly. You need to communicate confidently. And then right at the bottom, whoops. Let me move this up here first so I can see. Build trust, provide direct feedback. So let me just talk a little bit about provide direct feedback. The big thing we talk about here is whether you're, remember I said you're positive, neutral, or negative. Most people might have the philosophy that, Stephen, I will tell it like it is. I'm a 100% authentic person. So if there's a problem, I tell them there's a problem. Okay, I understand. However, if every time you come to the meeting and I see you and you have a problem, what do I think of you? You have a problem, and all I think is you always bring problems to me, right? Somebody wrote in the chat, just not be a problem solver. A problem solver doesn't mean you come in and say, hey, Stephen, I think we have a couple of issues. I have a couple of suggestions to make it work. What do you think? Now, at least you're giving me an option, right? Not that, hey, Stephen, we have problem again. So how? This Singapore. So how? So how? How means now my problem, right? Do not do that, though. Even in a question, you can be positive, neutral, and negative. You don't realize how many succession planning meetings I've been with senior people where they say, the name comes up, right? Succession planning meeting. Next person, who are we talking about? Oh, Lau Kok Yin. Was he the one who asked me that question in Shanghai? Immediately they will remember the negative question you asked them in the space or so. So all I'm saying is just be careful, all right? I know you're trying to be direct, and I know you're trying to be straight. but you can change the word. So let me give you an example. I'm with a group of high potentials in Shanghai, so happened. It's not the same person. I'm just using Ian's name. And they said, Stephen, please come in, help these guys because our CEO is coming next month. So no problem. I have a group of engineers from all around Asia. They're in Shanghai. So one of the exercises I did is, okay, I will play your CEO. Let's call him Mark. Okay, I will play Mark. You write a question and then you ask me and I'll answer and I'll tell you whether you have a good question. So I give them a few minutes, all writing their questions down. I said, okay, who wants to go first? Person went up, put up his hand first. And then here's the question, okay? Mark, our stock price has gone down for the last 6 quarters and the last 2 products we launched have been failures. Where do you see us going in the next 3 years? Okay, what kind of question is that? You know what the guy told me? But it's true. I said, I know it's true, but you cannot tell the CEO, ask the CEO that kind of question. The stock price has gone down for the last 6 quarters, is my fault. The last 2 products we launched is failure, is my fault. Now you want to ask me where we want to go in the next 3 years. Are you mad or what? So I told him, I said, okay, why don't you go neutral? You're not avoiding the issue, but use different words. So you say this, Mark, with our current challenges, where do you see us going in the next 3 years? You see, you wrap all the problems in one bow and use the word challenges. You come across at least being neutral. And if you're going to ask this question, then I told him, I said, why didn't you ask the positive question? Mark, where do you see us going in the next 3 years? My answer is the same. My impression of you. Here, your negative question, neutral, and positive, totally different. So my question to you is this. What impression do you want to leave with your senior leaders after any one of these 5 situations? Okay? And again, you do not have to avoid the issue. However, you have to think carefully of how you're going to phrase it neutrally and or positively. We do an exercise where we get people, I give you negative statements, and then you change it to either neutral or positive. Suddenly everybody realizes that all of them is possible to be changed. So we had another question. I'll give you another, just as an example, one more short thing here. So everybody believes that the new strategy is not good. So how, right? So everybody believes that the new strategy is not good. So how? Is that a good, positive, neutral, or negative question? Negative, right? So how do you change that to a positive question when everybody doesn't believe the strategy? So how do we gain the support of our employees for our new direction? The answer is the same. My impression of you, totally different. Okay, so please, okay, if you ever come to our program, think about how you need to reframe in your 5% situation. I don't care how you do, right, in your 95, because your 95 is your regular team meetings, right? You're trying to solve the problem. Hey guys, we have a problem here, so how? Let's try and resolve it. Okay, now you go to your boss. Hey boss, we have a few issues. Wow, the problem became an issue already. Okay? Then you go to the boss's boss. Wow, you know, we have prioritized some steps that if we get your support, we can totally resolve. Wow, very nice. So you go from problem to issues that we can resolve. However, it's a conscious thought, okay? So please be very, very careful, okay? Coaching and recognizing, we have tricks to show you how that. No time for today anyway, so we got 15 minutes. Okay, let me have here and then Q&A. I'm suggesting that some of you should be thinking of questions already and not hiding under this. So here is the promise that we gave. So for those of you, there's a QR code and or the URL. This is the 5% Zone book that just launched a couple of months ago now. And so for those of you who attended, please capture this now. I'll leave this up for a little while. And we have several of the things here. The book is full of stories. If I had time, all I'll do is just tell stories from one situation to another. But it really gives you some of the suggestions on what to do. And this kind of reinforces many of the 10 things we showed just now, okay? So I think everybody should have got it by now. And what I want to do now is leave some time for Q&A. So Rebecca, maybe if I hand it back to you, or let's see in the chat whether anybody got any questions, okay?
Thank you, Stephen. So yes, anyone can raise their hands, or you can just put your questions into the chat. We'll be monitoring both.
These are Singaporeans, right? So do you think we'll have questions or not?
Hi, Stephen. Jillian here. Maybe
Yes.
I'll start with the first question.
Sure.
Just now you mentioned that there are some good questions to ask during networking, especially with those who are totally or quite unfamiliar with. So what are they? Can you share with us?
That's actually it's better than teaching you the question, because it'll be too restrictive. We actually teach a framework or an acronym called FORM, F-O-R-M. And F is family, O is organization or occupation, R is recreation, and M is message. So you should ask questions within that category. So family is, from a Westerner, it could be, hey, where are you from? Where you originally live? Where did you grow up? That kind of stuff. To organization, how long have you been in the industry? How long you've been in the function, that kind of stuff. And then recreation is, things they like to do. It doesn't mean all leaders play golf. It could be anything. The trick is, if you find out something that the person likes to talk about, they want to talk. In fact, people are waiting for you to ask them the right question. If you meet with a senior guy and he's not talking, means you haven't asked him the right question. Because all you need to do, if you just find out the right question and says, wow, I heard you really are into wine. And I may not be a wine person. Huh? Where did you start that interest from? Well, let me tell you, when I was, and then they start to talk, right? Then all you have to do is this. Wow. They will talk for 2 more minutes already. And then you go, really? Then they'll talk for 2 more minutes though. I never knew that. They'll talk for 2 more. It's 6 minutes already, huh? You only have 3 words, Then they talk someone. I said, I wish I can be like, no. All senior. The more senior they are, okay, the more they want to talk. You have to give them the opportunity to talk. Most of you think you have to talk. That's the biggest fallacy. So I give you an example. Kok Yin and I were at a wine function. We're invited, one of these exclusive wine functions, right? You go wine dinner, fancy wine, everybody bring their bottle of wine all covered up. And they're all, the bouquet, a bit xiong, okay? So I'm sitting here in this table. There are 4 of us. In my next table, there's another 4 people. Then what I noticed, though, there are maybe 50, 60 people in this restaurant. The whole restaurant is taken by this group. I noticed everybody who came in acknowledged this person who was sitting next to me. Let's call him Raymond, okay? So Raymond. So everybody came in, Raymond. So he must be an important person, right? Because everybody knows him, right? He's an elderly gentleman, even older than me, okay? He's probably late 70s though. So I'm very rude if you're at a dinner and then you don't at least talk to this guy on this side. So halfway through the dinner, I turn to him and says, oh, hi, my name's Stephen. Hi, Raymond. Raymond. Somehow I mentioned that my mother was born in Labuan and she lived a part of her life in Malacca. Then he says, I also was in Malacca. I said, really? My mother used to play hockey. Then his face lit up, He said, I used to play hockey formerly. I was the state goalkeeper. Really? For the next 20 minutes, he's talking about hockey. I nearly became national goalkeeper. Then his wife scolding him. No, his wife also elderly. Hey, Raymond, why you always talk about your hockey story? He loves talking about his hockey. And he got one idiot to ask him about hockey. 20 minutes he's talking about hockey. You know what I found out after the dinner? He is one of the top neurosurgeons in Singapore. Do you think he wanted to talk about neurosurgery? No, hockey, which is probably 65 years ago, right? He still wants to talk about hockey because that's his proudest moment. He was the state goalkeeper, right? So just as an example, right? So FORM, family, organization, recreation, and the M is message. Message is, what do you say to somebody right before you disengage with them? Give you a clue. This is teaching you stuff that you may not heard. Most people go like this, right? So let's say Jillian, right? I'm talking to you. Hey, nice talking to you, Jillian. Okay, bye. Cling, I cling your ears and we go, right? That's usually what you say. Hey, nice speaking to you. Thank you. Go. No, you do not do that, right? You have to listen to that senior leader or that person and what they talked about the most or most passionate about. And the last line you say to them is the line on something they talked about the most. So my last line to Raymond was, hey, Raymond, you should have really been the national goalkeeper for Malaysia. Yeah. So now what has I just told him? He just told him that I listened to his conversation. So the last line is not thank you, clink. The last line is something they said in the conversation that they had with you. Okay. Thank you for asking the question.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Jillian,
much.
for your question. We have one from Hema from UniConnect. Ms. Hema, if you'd like to turn on your mic and video.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Good session. I understand that this session is largely applies for big corporations where they have systems, process, reviews, meetings, and all that, right? So I've been running a firm, largely focusing on semiconductor talents for the last almost 20, 25 years.
Yes,
So
yes.
one of the things is that some of these things doesn't apply to entrepreneurial companies, right? Entrepreneurial companies, and sometimes I also feel that big companies must have a startup culture, right, to be able to continuously renew, right? So I just wanted to get your 2 cents worth on this.
No. In fact, if you're an entrepreneur, even more you need to do these things. So think about it, right? If I'm going to create a Green X with my senior leader, shouldn't you be creating Green X with your customers? Shouldn't you be top of mind with your customer versus just the other person? What are you doing to engage your customer so that they remember you versus somebody else who's also providing the service, right? So think, how do you connect personally with them? Can you go to a social? Maybe nowadays cannot go to a social, but think about it, right? So what questions do you ask them so that you can get them to talk, not you talk, right? And that's how. So in fact, all the skills I can say is probably applicable even more so to entrepreneurs because they have to drum up business and you got to get people to like you, right? And if you're a smaller company, you got to get visible, right? So how do you get visible versus everybody else? You need to be doing something. And then the most important thing is you have to understand the rules of the game. So I'll give you an example though. I was was about to do some work for a company called Paccar in Seattle. Paccar is the manufacturers for trucks, the semi trucks in the US. Kenworth and Peterbilt, those are the Ferraris of the trucks. So one day I went in, I was talking to the head of HR, and then he said to me, he says, Stephen, if you want to do business with us, please don't drive your Mercedes in the parking lot. I'm going, what? He said, yeah, don't drive your Mercedes. Because Mike, the CEO, I won't mention it, Mike is up there, and he overlooks the parking lot, and Mercedes is their biggest rival, right? He will not do with vendors who drive Mercedes. I'm going, what kind of rule is this? But it's no different than bringing a Samsung phone and going to Apple if Apple is your client, right? You can't though. So it's one of those, so the rules of the game of your customer is just as important as the rules of the game as the boss's boss. And some of the things we may think is very silly, right? No, it's not silly though, right? To them it's a big deal though, right? So very applicable to small companies. You just have to reframe it and think about it slightly differently.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Now, let me ask you a question, right? The way I presented today, if those are still around, okay? Is this my 95 or my 5 though? Is this my 95 or my 5?
5.
5, definitely 5. I told you I hate talking to people, right? If I given a choice, I'll be sitting down. Even at home, I don't talk. In fact, one time I invited I got 3 daughters, right? 2 of my daughters sitting at the back of my class. And the participants asked, your dad like that all the time? They themselves were shocked because at home, I'm dad. Dad sits in front of the TV and watch TV. Don't talk to me. I already talked the whole day, right? So the role is different. So you have to realize that is your role. What is your role? You want the impression when your senior leaders see you. Don't let, we got no time to talk about your little voice. Don't let yourself talk yourself out of it because you say, that one acting, I want to be true to myself. So the other day I was in South Africa and a lady said, you know, we've been taught to be authentic. So, and she was asking a couple of negative things, right? So I said, so do you want to be authentically negative? Then carry on though. But just know that that may not be the best strategy in the company, right? So anyway, any other last question or comments or?
Well, in this group, right, we have a lot of engineers and
Totally.
and you know what you have said about being authentic, right? That's the kind of attitude a lot of engineers would like to adopt. And if you try to talk to them, it's very difficult to change it.
No. So here, very coxing, right?
Yeah.
I had a client, okay? You know, he's in a class where he told me, my role is to be negative. after about 20 minutes, his team started to jump on him and said, I'll go to Singaporean, right? Basket you are the reason why we never get all the R&D projects. They're always passing it to the other group because this group always say, yeah, I can. Yes, can. And he's always, no, cannot, no, not enough resources. Like this, like that. So he's complaining all the time, you know. So think about it, right? So yes, you can bring up issues, but how are you bringing it up and to which level though? At the engineering level, yes, you can whack each other, hey, yeah, but you have to realize you need to switch. The engineers that lead the switch are the ones that always climb up the organization. You look at all your senior bosses, how they deal with corporate headquarters, totally different. Huh? I've seen people in country with their own country, personality A, they go to corporate, personality B already. But what does corporate see? Personality B though. Man, that guy is really like one of us. He's the leader. We need him there in the Asia Pac. And then you are the one complaining all the time. See. So I totally understand Coxswain because I got a lot of engineering clients. We do work. I, in fact, go to Bangalore, whether it's Taiwan, Korea, same, all engineers, Semiconductor. And it takes a while for them to come across, but that's why we have the longer program because in an hour and a half, I'm not going to change your mind, right? But I start to show you examples, then you realize, hey, yeah, maybe, okay, I try one of these things in one of those situations. So we had a situation even in India where we assume all Indians can talk. Actually, the top 10% are really good, especially from an English standpoint, okay? The rest of them, English sometimes the third language, fourth language, you know. Okay, because they have dialect, local, you know, state language, Hindi as a national language. So English may not be there. So even them, can you imagine Singaporean go and teach Indians how to speak English? But they suddenly realize that is the most important thing because if they phrase things wrongly, it may come across as being, you know, be taken the wrong way. So you got to learn to be, as you go up the organization, you got to really learn that. It's a key thing. And I'm talking from a Singaporean, okay? Most Singaporeans, including myself, the reason you can move ahead, there's no way I will be the chief learning officer at Yum Brands or Starbucks if I was my typical Singaporean self. Buesai. Okay? No way. So thanks for bringing up the thing, Coxing, but maybe if you all attend a longer program, might be more useful though. Thanks. Rebecca, did you want to share with them anything about the program?
Yes, so thank you again, Stephen, for sharing. Thank you to everyone who asked questions. So we've actually worked with Stephen to come up with the GEM online program. So that's the Global Executive Mindset. So what you have heard today is just a portion of what he'll be sharing. So all 10 modules, and there will also be 2 video sessions, but in between there will be some homework. Is that right, Stephen?
Yeah, so let me just a very quick overview. So what's going to happen is the first time that I'm doing it with SSIA, they kind of convinced me to do this. We usually do it in-house for all our clients. You know, our clients are really BASF, Schneider Electric, Visa, BNP Paribas, all big companies. So we're doing a public run together with SSIA. We're doing 2 3.5-hour, 3-hour programs on the 14th and the 21st. And in between, you have 10 micro modules of online that you will also get that reinforce the messages. So you get both packages together as one, and you are able to do that. And where I think you can go to the platform and sign up. We are not having a very big class, so there'll be a lot of feedback to you, just like we said just now, you know, either correcting your introduction or your questions that you have for your senior leaders or things that you can say more effectively. That is the intention of this class also.
All right. So if you're interested to register, you can use a QR code or you can go to the link below. I would also like to ask everyone who is here if you could please give us your feedback for today's session. So you can do that while you're also looking at the registration page. If you have any other questions as well, I think Stephen's okay to answer a few more. Sorry, I cut you in.
Yeah, sure. No problem. If there's anybody have any other questions. Let me see chat, under the chat. What they have.
Okay, so there was a question in chat about the slides. Stephen will be able to share a copy of them after this, correct?
Yeah, we will share. No, I think like previously we will share some of those slides with them. So. Yeah, definitely. If you have any other questions, please feel free to follow up. I will be here and stay on, just like most programs. Singaporeans in front of the group don't ask. After the thing finished, then they want to ask a question, right?
Yeah, if you're too shy to ask into the chat, you can also privately message to Stephen. We don't have to know, you can just be between you and him.
Exactly. You can find me on LinkedIn if you want to, no problem, Messenger, whatever, right? So, but the program on the 14th and 21st, I've set those dates aside for longer session, but it will not feel long, I guarantee you, because it's totally hands-on, a lot of work type. It's not a sit down and listen like this one. There'll be breakout rooms and there'll be individual feedback. So.
Okay, if there are no other questions, then I think we can call an end today's session. Thanks again, Stephen, for being here with us. Thank you to all of our participants who are here. We'll keep the stream on for maybe 5 more minutes if you have any other questions. Otherwise, we wish you a good day. Thank you.
Just a minute. If you have problem downloading the book, you just contact any one of the people from SSIA, all right? If you own a company's device and you are unable to download it because your company has blocked you from downloading, you can use your personal device, whether it's your phone, your tablet or anything. So some of our clients are unable to download the book because they are using a company's device, and your company may block it, all right? And it's in Mobi because it's sold on Amazon, and you need to use Kindle to open the book to read, unless you have other applications that can open the Mobi dot format. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Kokin. Maybe 2 more minutes. If not, then maybe we can just close the stream.
2 more minutes, no problem.
A lot of thank yous in the chat.
Yep.
Okay, I think it's time to call it. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll be ending the stream in 3, 2,